Hello, and welcome to this week's Glasstire Top 5. It's the week of April 27th, 2017. I'm Christina Rees,
And I'm Brandon Zech.
and we are counting down the top 5 art events in Texas this
We
week.
do have something we want to make sure and mention it now in case you don't stay all the way to the end. But we have an event coming up this Saturday with Catherine Obie and Eileen Miles. It's going to be great. It's a conversation between the two of them. They've been friends for a long time. We'll put a link to the tickets in the post, but that's coming up, just so you know. So number 5 this week, we've already written a review about it. Neil Farso wrote a review about it. It's in San Antonio at Artpace, but we wanted to make sure we mentioned it because I actually saw it a couple weeks ago, and it's a really good show. It's Artpace's International Artist in Residence exhibition with Robert Hodge, Kate Newby, and Nicholas Frank. The best kind of part of this show for me actually was seeing some of Robert Hodge's new work. Robert Hodge, a Houston-based artist, he had a show at the Cam a few years ago.
It's great.
Yeah, so he has some larger new paintings. They have neon incorporated into them.
What he's done is he's mined the legend of Robert Johnson, the blues artist, and he's even recorded music at the original recording studio that Robert Johnson had used. He's brought in some of the San Antonio community. In other words, he's used resources in San Antonio to create this body of work.
And some of his record album collages, they're kind of mid-sized, but they're some of the best pieces that I've ever seen from him. So I'm really happy to see this new direction for him and to see all 3 shows for that exhibition. Number 4 this week is a one-night-only show. It's on Friday the 28th, and it's the North Set Residency Closing Exhibition. So the North Set Residency, it's a 7-week residency that was sponsored or put on by Bia Ying Projects. It was juried by Alex Tu, Arturo Palacios, and Patricia Restrepo. And the 3 artists are Bradley Brown, Jessica Nincy, and Eden Ray. So Bradley Brown and Jessica Nincy, 2 Houston artists that have kind of been on the scene for a little while. Eden, I think, is a little newer. I believe I've seen her around, but I'm not that familiar with her work, so I'm really excited to see what all 3 of them have made over this 7-week residency. So another residency show, but younger artists this time and kind of a DIY residency thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of really good names associated with this. All right, so number 3 this week is the Dallas Median Owl. This is the second iteration of this. This is hosted by or organized by the Dallas Video Festival. One thing to note is that there's been somewhat of a change of venue. The original kind of center of it was going to be the MAC, but now it's at a place called the Green Zone in the Design District. So this starts today. It runs 4 days. It's a lot of video presentations, experimental video, etc. There are also performances. It's at multiple venues. We've got work by Eve Lauren Little Shell LaFontaine out of Los Angeles, Sean Miller, Ian Haig.
One thing I would definitely recommend screening tonight at the Texas Theater is an evening of Tony Conrad. It's this 2016 documentary about Tony Conrad. I got to see it at Fusebox Festival at the Contemporary Austin. It was a great documentary, and then this evening is going to have the documentary and then a few performances of scores.
All right, so number 2 this week is Lionel Mons at Laguna Gloria, the Contemporaries Laguna Gloria in Austin. The show's not up for much longer. I finally got to see it. I'd seen him give a talk at SMU, which is where he got his MFA. He's a New York-based artist. He's got a great career. He's young. I don't want to step on any toes or do some sort of unauthorized biography of this guy. I will say that he comes from a very, very dark childhood that he managed to survive. The work reflects that. When he gives interviews or when he talks about his work, he talks around that. He doesn't tend to go directly into some of the shit that went down for him, but it's in the work itself. This is all sculpture. He casts in iron. The show is small, it's dense, it's incredibly intense. It is not child-friendly. Do not take your kids to this show. He kind of goes through the way systems tend to break down individuals over the course of a lifetime, whether it's the family institution, schools, religion, the way it destroys human beings and destroys their souls and sort of transmogrifies them and turns them into something else. And he seems to somehow find some grace in that. This work is autobiographical, and I think there's tremendous grace in it. That is my thesis. I have so much more to say about this guy. and I can't. I don't have time to do it now. Go see the show while you can.
So number 1 this week, it's Off-Road with Catherine Opie and Eileen Miles. It's the event that we've been working on for a while now, and we're so excited. It's going to be this Saturday at the Alley Theater in Houston. Catherine, what can you say about Catherine Opie?
Well, I mean, she's a legend. She's a fucking great photographer and artist. You will recognize her photographs if you look up anything that she's done. I mean, this is iconic work. We really wanted her to come down for this off-road, and she agreed to do it. And then when we figured out that she could actually be in conversation with Eileen Miles, the also legendary, amazing, incredible writer, author, poet, they're friends, we realized that we were going to have a very, very interesting conversation on our hands. If you're in Houston, don't miss this. This is going to be a fascinating dialogue between two really important creative people.
There's still some tickets left. We'll put a link in the post. Make sure, go buy your tickets if you haven't already. Also, we'll put a link in. We've published a piece about Opie and a piece about Miles. It's so great to kind of have their histories and to learn more about the both of them before the talk.
I'm personally so psyched about this and so excited to meet them and to hear what they have to say. I'll be in Houston. If you're not in Houston and you want to go, just go to Houston, buy tickets and drive. That's our top 5 this week. You know what we're doing this weekend. We hope that you're actually doing the same thing this weekend. And otherwise, as always, go see some art.
Go see some art.